Well, welcome back to Malachi Gaming and Talk, and today we are going to be discussing the AMC squeeze, which is well on its way. Yesterday was the official start of the squeeze, and I say official, but who am I? But today we went up 20%. I mean, yesterday we went up 20% almost. Today, at the end of the day hours, we were at 13%, but we were just chugging along. We were blasting right through each level of technical analysis. I was sitting there watching Matt Kors, and he's like, okay, next level of technical analysis, boom, we'd go right through it. All right. He'd be like, all right, next level, way to go, got it, boom, before he'd finish his sentence. But we're moving beautifully. Like, if you have Robinhood, if you have whichever app you look at, just look at the chart for today on AMC. And it rises, and it just levels out a little bit, consolidates, then it goes up, and it consolidates a little bit. That's what, like, a lot. Oh, I'm so excited. Rush Capital was like, okay, that's what we want to see. And yeah, if we, well, I better make my words careful right here, because I'm not trying to manipulate the stock. But we don't want just a parabolic rise during like the day, or you're going to get a bunch of these stops, and that might deter like the FOMO investors. A stable rise before we really get trucking will definitely bring in the FOMO investors, and I've really started seeing a lot of FOMO on Facebook. The Facebook groups that people last month, earlier in the month, mid-April, we thought the squeeze was going to happen, and then there was a huge setback. While the stock event just kept going up, eventually it had a pullback, and they got cocky. And now you see more and more every day that, oh, it won't go above 35. The all-time high of AMC was like $35, which I beg to differ. And a lot of them are like, well, you're just going to be back holding. And I got news to break to you, buddy. The retail investors control the majority of the stocks, not the hedge funds. It has been confirmed that the majority shareholders are retail holders, retail investors, not huge corporations. That is a rarity within any stock in the stock market. I don't know of any other, like, comment below if you know any stocks where it's been confirmed that retail investors, not huge corporations, are the majority shareholders by a large margin. No pun intended. But margin prices are getting higher. The cost to borrow is getting higher for the shorts. They are paying enormous fees, and they have lost hundreds of millions of dollars just trying to stubbornly go, we're going to push this company into bankruptcy. And we're just like, no, we're going to hold. And you, like, the funny thing is, they could have probably, like, by they I mean these hedge funds, they could have probably licked their wounds, the ones that survived, if they had not interfered with the squeeze back in February. They could have licked their wounds, came back, and been fine. And they could have probably done the same thing whenever we aren't like as interested in the stock anymore. But by what Robinhood did, what happened in the market in February with everything being stopped, and I know Robinhood was not the only brokerage to do it, but they were the only ones that were hiding shit. They're also ones that are owned by the companies that have a large short interest. They work with the companies that, by work I mean they feed information to the company that has a large short interest in this. And yes, the official story is, oh, we ran out of liquidity. That's not a good issue to have. It was a 5 sigma event. Well, Robinhood was one of the ones that really had these liquidity issues. A bunch of the other ones also didn't. So, Robinhood choosing let's move on to Robinhood for a brief tangent. Robinhood choosing to continue to IPO their stock this year. They continue to go with that decision. They could have talked to the SEC and been like, hey, we got really bad press this year. Pull out and we'll do it next year when people have forgot, quote unquote. But if you look anywhere on the internet where stocks can be found, where AMC is talked about, even in crypto groups, people talk about what happened in February into January. What happened with Robinhood? What happened with was it the market makers or whoever that just put a stop to buying the shares? You could only sell, which, surprise, surprise, drove the price back down artificially. And let's just say that people are pissed. Like, really, really pissed. A lot of people got burned by what they did. I know I sure did. The market has been awful since then. I know some of it has to do with the new president's policies, which are shit. But I won't get into that any further because this is AMC. That definitely had an effect on the market. That scared the market. A lot of investors moved to crypto. A lot of investors just pulled out entirely and went into the housing market. Like, seeing that sort of event where you just couldn't buy it anymore, that was unprecedented. No one had seen something like that before, where a stock is going parabolic, and then, no, it's not because of volatility that the stock was halted. The stock, you couldn't buy it. That was wild. You had to go to the next platform, buy it for a little bit more, and then, boom, that platform. You can't buy it there, only sell. Can't buy it next one, only sell. And the firms that run through Apex, like Webull and M1 Finance, immediately released a statement saying, this was not our decision, this was Apex decision. And we found out later, much later, that, and this was really stressful for me and other Texas investors because we were dealing with a fucking ice storm at the time and worrying about how the fuck did this just happen. The market had dropped dramatically during that first couple weeks of February, and February was just completely bad, especially if you had a lot of Tesla options and XONE, anything ARK Invest. That, ooh. But I should have pulled out of my last XONE long option. I had set it out for like 5 months, and that one I should have pulled out as soon as it dipped to like 600 rather than losing the full 1400. But ooh, yeah, a lot of people, I'm not the only one that got burned. Like, people are mad, and this is where I get to the point. I almost forgot the point. Robinhood choosing to do their IPO this year is very unwise of them, because a lot of retail investors and huge investors like Kevin O'Leary, Mark Cuban, Elon Musk, several senators are all pissed because of what Robinhood did. You got hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of retail investors going, let's see how far we can short them. Now, I'm not saying what you should do with your money, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to short them or not, although it's tempting. I might try to put puts on them. Maybe. But I gotta check how you can short things on Webull. But they made a lot of people that want to move their money out of Robinhood and don't want anything to do with Robinhood anymore. I moved most of my money out of Robinhood within the next couple weeks after that. I still got my Robinhood account. You've seen it on this channel. I mostly use Cash App and Webull at the moment. I got an M1 Finance, but that's not really for trading. That's for investing. I haven't checked out Stash, but I don't feel like getting on too many different platforms. And I tried Fidelity. I sent $100 over there, and not really my thing, but I got like, 6 shares of AMC over there, I think. I got 3.5 on Robinhood. Those are my 2 smallest brokerage accounts now. I got an option, a $35 January 22nd call option. I mean, not January 22nd, but end of January 2022. And I just put that because I got burned after the hedgies. The hedgies were really fighting to keep AMC down. And they've been fighting harder and harder, but they're losing now. And I made a couple $100 on a call option, and then I lost a couple $100. And I let that play out. And now I was like, okay, I'm no longer going to do these 1 month options or other 2 weeks. I'm going, because I did do the very risky ones and I made a lot of money. I withdrew it for bills, or I lost it, and I lost part of it whenever, I got burned in March, I think, end of March. That was not fun, but I was like, okay, gotta play it a little bit safer. Gotta do my due diligence. Look at the stats, and I should have been paying attention whenever I got burned that last time. And I was like, oh, if I had been paying a little bit more attention, I would have known that doing 2 week options at this point was too risky. Because I got a little bit too greedy. I was like, Because as right now we're seeing the hedge funds. They've lost so much money. But they're getting to the point where they're like, hey, I've already, what's that? The gambler's fallacy or something like that? Where you've lost a lot of money, or you saw great gains and then you lose a chunk and you're like, I'll hold, and you end up getting burned. That's happening to the hedge funds. That happened to a lot of us in March, whenever we were trying to figure out where the market was going. April, we kind of got a hold of it, and now it's May. Things are about to open up. We kind of know what the new president is doing. We also got an amazing announcement from Adam Aaron. He gave us that announcement where 80% of their liquidity is their own money. Only 20% debt. Usually it's the other way around with most companies. A lot of companies. Not most, I shouldn't say most, but they paid off their debt, they got money set aside, and they raised the most money they ever did in their 101-year history. Those are good stats. And I'm hoping AMC, after the squeeze, later this year, and after they've pulled out of it, they're in the green, they're back on top, because they were on top before the pandemic, then they got knocked down to the bottom. Let's hope that they go back to being a dividend stock, because I do fully intend to take a chunk of my tendies, my fat stack of cash that I'm going to get from this squeeze, I'm going to give it back to AMC after the squeeze has died down a bit, as a way of saying thank you. Thank you for changing my life. And also, we do still support you. You weren't AMC was not just a cash grab, because a lot of these Citadel, actually I shouldn't get into that. YouTube will strike me like oof. Okay, long story short, a lot of them are very anti-theater for certain reasons, where it symbolizes freedom from what happened this last year, where they got shut down. It's being used as a tool. They like to paint theaters as the scary place now, when theaters are a part of who we are as a society. Even though you can sit down and stream things, you still go out for that. You don't have to, but it's like having a steak. You don't have to have a steak. You can have a pound of burger. But it's the experience. It's the night out. It's the taste. It's a lot, like, it's a part of what makes America and what makes the free people of the world. And we saw when Godzilla vs. Kong was released, with Demon Slayer the movie, with the Mortal Kombat movie. The movies were raking in the cash. They had people lined around the block. And the movies are here to stay. So, time to wrap things up. Today was a great day in the market, and although I had a few technical difficulties, the hedgies are panicking. They know what's coming, and they are lashing out. They got their bots saying, sell by Friday. I'm not. A lot of people on Reddit are not. And while they scream at us, we say, here comes the squeeze. Now, I hope you enjoyed my little video about the AMC squeeze. I hope each and every one of you makes a lot of money, and I hope that you like and subscribe to my video and share it out. Till next time, peace out.